By watching this video, you've agreed to our new terms and services. Resident Evil Code Veronica. Okay, we did them out of order. It's been 3 months since the events of Resident Evil 2 and 3, and Claire Redfield is still searching for her brother, Chris Redfield. She has infiltrated an Umbrella site in Paris.
Oui.
Not now. We'll take a break later, Bill.
Oh, should have told me that before I got the bucket out.
But things don't go her way, and she is captured by Rodrigo Juan Raval. Raval is an Umbrella military commander, wouldn't you know? 10 days later, she is transported to a prison. The prison is located on Rockford Island, and she shows up, and then immediately she's knocked unconscious.
Good night, girl.
The island is rocked with explosions. Over there and over there. Because an air raid has hit the island prison. Oh my god, it's the Japanese.
Oh no.
Raval limps into Claire's cell and says,
"Get out of here."
Claire reaches the surface, but the facility is all in ruins from the bombings. It turns out the air raid released the T-virus samples and bioorganic weapons on the island.
Oh my god, no.
So Claire takes out a couple of zombies and makes her way. She's fired upon by a guard tower, and she returns fire. The tower guard realizes that she isn't a zombie and stops shooting. The guard's name is Steve.
"My name is Steve."
Relax, beautiful. I said I was sorry.
So Steve is heading to the island's airport.
I'm heading to the
However, he doesn't want
airport.
Claire to tag along as she's a woman and she'll just slow him down.
What did you write there?
That's what they said in the game.
Play the clip. Does he really say that?
I don't want you following me, lady. You'll only slow me down.
The sexism in gaming. I heard that at Microsoft, a woman makes only 3% what a man makes.
I thought women just make babies.
So the two have parted ways, right? Anyway, Claire discovers a note that details experiments done on prisoners on the island. Oh, you shouldn't do that. That's mean. Soon she catches up to Steve. Steve, wait! And Steve has been reading files on a computer. Aha, look at this. On one of the files is the name Chris Redfield. Claire explains, wait, that Chris Redfield is my brother. And then she opens up like a Skype thing and contacts Leon. You have to tell Chris that Umbrella has him under surveillance.
Wait, so Leon can contact Chris whenever he wants. Why is Claire searching for Chris if Leon can just contact him?
That's a good point.
Wouldn't you just be like, hey Leon, send me the deets on where Chris is?
Claire sends her coordinates to Leon, which really annoys Steve. Why does that annoy Steve?
Because he's very insecure, and he says that she shouldn't rely on other people, and he just storms off.
Claire, you shouldn't rely on other people. Every man is an island. Don't you understand, Claire? So Claire goes wandering off too. And then she finds a large mansion on the island. Oh, that's surprising.
So the zombies in the air raid haven't disturbed this mansion. It's in pristine condition. She finds a note detailing the lord of the mansion, Sir Alfred. So while searching the mansion, Claire finds a note that mentions 2 twins.
Twins?
There's 2 of them. These twins have a strange fascination with insects. Claire hears Steve cry out in distress.
Yeah! Help me!
She finds him, and she frees him from a trap. Steve runs off as soon as he's free. Thank you, goodbye.
Self-reliance, self-reliance.
Claire continues searching through the mansion. A well-dressed man starts shooting at Claire with a rifle.
I'm kind of on his side.
To be honest, some random lady started showing up in my mansion, which has happened before. I started shooting at them, which has happened before.
And then he accuses her, hey, you got caught in Paris to get taken to jail and that deliberately because you wanted to find out what's going on here on Prison Island. It's all part of your scheme. But then he says, let me make things easier for you by telling you all about myself. I am the commander of the base, Alfred Ashford, and I am the lord of the manor. Alfred is the grandson of one of Umbrella's founding fathers. Umbrella has a founding father? All right. 2 dads. That's very progressive. But then he says, aha, just because I have introduced myself, do not believe it is all pleasantries. I will be messing with your brain and such over the course of this game.
I'll be sure to keep you entertained before I dispose of you.
Then Claire just walks out the door. Then she starts walking around the base. Then Alfred shows up and he traps Claire in a room with the new bioweapon. He says, ha ha, it's a weaker version of the Tyrant called a Bandersnatch. That's from,
C.S. Lewis.
Yeah.
Enjoying the munching right into the mic. You can see it there. Munch.
Suddenly, Steve crashes through the roof. He goes, you know what? I've changed my ways, and it's time for me to shoot the Bandersnatch. I was wrong. No, you were wrong. It's important that we stick together. Sticking together is what the good waffles do.
Did that fall do more damage than I think? Why is there so much blood coming out of your ear?
It finally knocked some sense into me.
But Alfred says, haha, I'm not done yet. Turns out the platform that they're standing on is actually a lift, and he lowers them into the depths of the facility. Claire then asks Steve, why are you on the island, Steve?
Well, I'll tell you, Claire.
He doesn't. He becomes withdrawn.
Well, I've changed my mind. Every man is an island. Get away from me, no questions.
You're a fucking weird dude, Steve. The bridge the pair are on collapses. Claire is trapped, but Steve is unscathed. A zombie turns its attention to her. Steve goes to shoot it. Oh no. But I can't do it.
I can't. My hands are slippery.
Also, it's his dad.
And also, the zombie is my dad. Then the zombie attacks Claire. Oh, help me, Steve. My dad. He has saved Claire. Oh, thank you, Steve. And Steve explains that his father was a low-level scientist for Umbrella. His father was going to sell company secrets.
You can't do that.
And then Umbrella killed Steve's mom as well and captured Steve and his father. So Claire leaves Steve behind and explores more of the mansion. Claire escapes to find a house on a hill, a different house.
Yeah, it's up on the hill behind the mansion.
And inside the house is Alfred and his twin sister, Alexia. Alexia, play Despacito.
I found some popular pork beef roast on Amazon.com.
Alexia is chastising Alfred.
You never bring me anything nice? You let that girl run around the island, and now there are monsters in my backyard?
All right. Aren't they brother and sister, not husband and wife?
I don't know what their story is.
Well, they're on an island. What are you going to do?
Alexia.
I can't find the song Splish Splash, I was taking a crap.
She is apparently the one who's in charge of the facilities. Then they're kind of like, oh, what's going on? But Claire stealths out of there and flees. She finds Commander Raval next, who has been wounded. Claire gives Raval some medicine, and he is very grateful, thank you, and gives her a lockpick. As the master of unlock, Claire leaves her lighter with him.
Claire leaves Raval and heads back to the mansion. As she walks up, she's called out as a mysterious figure appears behind her.
Kind of spooky.
She turns around, and the man introduces himself as a ghost who's come back to haunt her brother. Claire recognizes him. It's Albert Wesker.
Greetings.
Wesker claims responsibility for the air raid. It was all me. I did it. He grabs Claire and lifts her with superhuman strength.
Yeah.
Wesker says he'll use Claire to lure Chris to the island. And then suddenly he just jumps away, saying he has a use for Claire later. Claire says, okay, and heads back inside the mansion. Shuffling through more papers in the mansion, talking about Alexia.
Alexia, call Mom.
So it turns out that Alexia was a prodigy. And at 10 years old, she was given the position of head researcher at Umbrella.
They made her the head researcher of a multi-billion-dollar company at 10.
Sure.
I think we found someone who's going to give us funding. We'll go out to lunch. Can you drive me to lunch?
She's sitting at the table and she can't quite see over it.
It's like a kid's menu.
Claire also finds another letter from Alfred. The letter describes Alfred's unhealthy obsession with his sister. Ugh. While Claire's reading through all these letters, Alexia appears.
This might answer your question.
And she holds Claire up at gunpoint. Steve bursts into the room. Steve and Alexia wound each other by shooting bullets. Alexia turns and runs into a secret room.
The pair try to follow her, but they are ambushed by Alfred. Steve subdues Alfred. Turns out that Alexia, dun dun dun, it was Alfred all along.
She got a dick.
Jesus. Turns out Alfred has been pretending to be his sister, Alexa.
Hot chick amateur girl calling sexy.
So Alfred runs off.
Don't look at me. Don't look at me.
These are different times. People will be much more accepting today.
Absolutely.
That freak!
Claire doesn't think there ever was an Alexia, and Alfred believes he is two people. Then, all of a sudden, Alfred triggers the island to self-destruct via a protocol thing.
It wouldn't be a Resident Evil game if an island didn't explode.
Steve and Claire leave the mansion. They head out for the airport, and then they jump in a plane, and Steve is prepping it for takeoff. I gotta spin the propeller. But then, Alfred frees a special bioorganic weapon, and it's a new type of tyrant, a better type of tyrant.
And it dies immediately, because Claire beats it.
Steve then finishes prepping the plane, and then they take off. Then Alfred also departs the island in a jet. Oh my god, but the tyrant has stowed itself aboard Claire and Steve's plane. But Claire pushes Tyrant off the plane. Steve can't control the plane anymore. I can't control it. But no, actually, the reason he can't control the plane is because Alfred has taken over it, and he's guiding the plane's autopilot.
Cross-dressing freak!
Okay, so then they go, well, I guess we'd better hope we have enough fuel. Yeah. And so they go to sleep. Alfred has taken them to Antarctica. Okay, you need a lot of fuel. And then the landing gear fails. Oh no! And the plane crashes and they die.
We got so far for so little.
I will remember you.
But no, it crashes through a wall in the facility.
Debris and penguins everywhere.
Claire, there's no penguins in Antarctica. Wait, Claire and Steve leave the wreckage. Ow. Claire finds documents detailing a man who has been trapped under the facility for 10 years. And his name is Nosferatu. Pure coincidence.
Yeah.
No, it's a...
No relation.
She also finds documents talking about the Ashford family. Edward Ashford was one of the founders of the T-Virus and of Umbrella Corp. And his son, Alexander, followed in his footsteps.
Edward died during an experiment, and the Ashford research staggered to a halt. No more. Alexander felt he had disgraced the Ashford name by not doing enough. He decided to make a large-scale research facility in the Antarctic to do his own research. To disguise it, he codenamed the project Veronica, just like the game. As Claire's running around the base, she bumps into Steve again. Steve tells her that there's an Australian base close by, full of wallabies and kangaroos and all those other things. Suddenly, Alfred appears in front of the pair, so Steve then dives and shoots Alfred, which makes him fall into the ravine. Claire hears a howl from deep below the facility. Nosferatu has broken out of its restraints. So Steve wants to get out of the facility. He finds a large driller, and thinking quickly, he decides to drill a hole straight through the wall of the facility.
Oh my god.
Conveniently, the helipad is right in front of them. Nosferatu appears and attacks the pair. He knocks Steve away, and Steve is clinging to the edge of the balcony.
When it's so cold, my fingers hurt.
Claire battles the monster, and she wins.
Got you now.
And she manages to pull Steve to safety.
Maybe Steve will learn that no man is an island. You know what? He's changed his ways.
So Steve and Claire continue to the helipad, but it turns out it's empty. Luckily, there's a snowmobile nearby. The pair jump in and they make their way to the Australian base.
Bet you didn't guess that Alfred was still alive. Well, he is. He pulls himself out of the ravine and he limps over to a large containment unit. And he unlocks the unit, fumbling with a key. Inside is the real Alexia. Alexia. Order more paper towels.
My name is Alexa, and I'm here to say I'm the baddest AI in the cloud today. Your responses are fast, but mine are faster. Sucker speech engines, they call me master.
But as she is being revived, Alfred dies. What of?
Of being shot and falling down a ravine.
Oh, his injuries.
Natural causes.
His ravine-like injuries. Alexia is very sad, and she sends out a gigantic tentacle, and she destroys the snowmobile, and it erupts into flames. Now let's check on Chris Redfield. He's been hiding out with the other STARS members. Chris got a tip from Leon that Claire was in danger, so he reaches Rockford Island to find his sister.
Hold a second, didn't this island literally explode?
Then he meets Commander Raval.
Wait, it did explode, what the fuck?
And then Raval tells Chris that Claire's already escaped Rockford. A giant worm erupts from the ground, and then the worm eats Raval. And then Chris battles the worm, and he kills it. I killed that worm. And then the worm spits out the mortally wounded Raval. And then Raval hands Chris the lighter he received from Claire, and he dies. Thank you very much for this lighter. You can get him 6 for $1 at your local 7-Eleven. Chris heads back to the facility, right?
Yep.
And then he sees Alexia on screen with her deceased brother. That he could see them in Antarctica.
Yep.
And Wesker watches Chris on CCTV.
Chris, oh little fishy, come see my hook.
Wesker activates a new hunter bioweapon.
After beating the hunters, Chris doesn't have long to rest up, because Wesker appears before him.
Greetings.
Chris is shocked, because he thought that Wesker died in the first game. You died in the first game. Wesker explains that he's just here to capture Alexia. Chris then says, screw that, and attacks Wesker. But Wesker is he's too quick, he's too fast, and he knocks Chris to the ground. He lifts Chris by the neck and starts monologuing.
I hate you, Chris. You're always fooling my original plans. You're always doing stuff that makes things more difficult.
Chris then takes a swing at Wesker and knocks off his sunglasses.
Why are you always knocking things out of my hands, knocking it off my face? Don't you leave me alone?
No one's gonna be able to understand what you're saying. Wesker's eyes definitely aren't human. They look like cat's eyes. He's an animorph. He tells Chris that Claire is in Antarctica. Alexia suddenly disappears off the CCTV. And Wesker throws Chris aside. I'm done with you. I'm done playing.
I kind of sprained my wrist when I threw you as well. It is your fault too.
Wesker then decides to head off to Antarctica. Goodbye, Chris. Chris is left to fend off a group of bandersnatchers. After that, he eventually makes it to a hangar and steals another jet. He heads for Antarctica to save his sister. I'm coming for you, Claire.
Wait, who?
Chris.
Chris.
Yes. Chris Redfield.
No, but where's that line?
He heads for Antarctica to save his sister.
Oh, that's nice.
I was reading the script as I was supposed to be.
Suddenly, Chris arrives at the Antarctic base.
That's not suddenly. It probably takes a solid 8 hours.
And it's overrun with tentacles and monsters and shit. And then he finds a journal and it notes about Alexia and stuff and Alfred's origins. Ooh, it's got all the details. And then it turns out that the twins are actually clones of Ashford's family ancestor, who is Veronica. How can Alfred be a clone of a lady? Because you can't take 2 X chromosomes and make a dude.
Maybe that's why he wants to be a woman.
I kind of think that's actually what they're going with. Right, so these twins are both clones of Veronica. Wait, why was Veronica so great? Who the fuck's Veronica?
The twins' father, Alexander, was just obsessed with Veronica. And he just was like, she was so smart, she was so great, I wanted to revive her.
The twins were experimented on to give them incredible intelligence, just like Veronica. Veronica is so smart, so you will be so smart. Alfred was deemed a failure. You failed me, son. And he said, but Alexia, you are great. You are even better than I could have hoped for.
You're my favorite child.
But Alexander grew concerned for the twins' lack of humanity. They were also concerned with the new strain of T-virus that Alexia was working on. This new strain is called the T-Veronica virus. Fuck off. Why don't they make a virus that actually does something good? Like, makes you smarter, makes you stronger without turning you into an inhuman monster.
Because you have to sacrifice your humanity to become stronger. Just like you did.
Alexander decided to create a weapon that could stop this T-Veronica virus, right? And he called that weapon a linear launcher. However, the twins learned of their origins and their father's plans and all that stuff, and they went, "Father, I will stop you." And they put him beneath the facility in Antarctica, right? And they used the T-Veronica virus on him, and he became Nosferatu. That's quite a good twist. Why did he change his name? So, Alexia still wanted to use the T-Veronica virus on herself, right? So she tweaked it and decided to place herself in cryostasis. So for 15 years, she slept. She grew accustomed to the virus and all of the changes that were happening within her. She became a woman. She had all of these new virus powers and all sorts of urges that she wishes she had a parent to tell her about. But she retained her intelligence. Chris is still making his way through the Antarctic base. He finds the dead body of Alfred in the cryo chamber. Aha, you are frozen and dead. And then he finds a foyer that looks exactly like the mansion from Resident Evil 1. And in this fake mansion, he finds Claire. She's trapped inside some form of
pork beef roast.
And Chris frees her. I gotta free you. And the siblings are reunited. Chris, Claire.
Why do they sound the same?
Because I'm lazy. Chris, it's not that simple. We can't just run away and get married together. I've been poisoned by Alexia. Hopefully there's some sort of serum. Oh, here it is. And then he heals Claire. Anyway, let's do something else. So Claire decides that they want to find Steve, who's being held elsewhere on the mansion. He's deliberately just hanging out on his own. He's in his own bedroom.
Oh, he's become so isolated and weird.
I'm back to option A. Suddenly, Alexia appears before the siblings.
Hello.
But then she runs away.
Bye.
And Chris and Claire give chase. Then suddenly, a massive tentacle smashes through the wall. And a staircase as well. And then Chris tumbles down. Music stop! Because he's hurt his leg. Claire continues running on without him. And then she finds Steve bound in a room by himself. Of course. Man's Island. Claire tries to free Lumula, but Steve knocks her back. Alexia has injected him with the T. Veronica virus, and his body is starting to
Alexa, and I'm here
mutate.
to say-
He's losing all his body here. Steve loses control, and he attacks Claire, and Claire dives into a cell for safety. One of Alexia's tentacles catches Claire, though, and Steve is going in for the killing blow. Steve stops just before hurting Claire. He's fighting with the virus in his head.
What should I do?
He's fighting with the virus in his head. Oh, the virus is taking over. It wants me to kill. I'm going to chop off my tentacles.
Not using it anyway.
The severed tentacle stabs Steve through the stomach, and he collapses. Steve then reverts back into a human for no discernible reason. He then says, I'm dying, Claire. And actually, option B, no man is an island, and I loved you all along. And he's like pissing and shitting and stuff, which you do.
He's got a raging erection, as you do when you die too.
It's not me, it's the virus. Then we switched narrators.
And we also switch characters. Chris is still tending to his injuries when suddenly, bam, Wesker bursts into the room. Wesker demands a T. Veronica virus from Alexia, because she is the only one who carries this new strand. But Alexia deems Wesker unworthy. Pitiful creature. She descends the stairs and erupts into flames. Whoosh. Her human form burns off to reveal a monstrous form beneath.
I don't know what this is, but it's kind of hot.
Wesker and Alexia battle. The two superhumans are a close match for one another. Wesker notices Chris and flees. Chris is then left to fight Alexia by himself. He manages to stun her just for long enough to escape.
I like that idea. You stun a woman. Your Honor, I was just stunning her. Chris and Claire then find each other, but they are divided by a sealed door. Claire mentions that the self-destruct function of the base opens all the doors. Why not use that? So Chris finds the terminal and initiates the self-destruct sequence. Siblings are reunited once again. Oh,
yay!
Let's hug in a sibling kind of way. Uh-oh, but Alexia is blocking their path to escape. Chris finds the linear launcher. I found it, but it needs to be charged. Oh no, where's a USB port? Then Chris tells Claire to prepare their escape, as he'll take on Alec. I'll do it myself. Claire says, sure, why not? But just remember not to die. This whole time she's been looking for Chris, and then she's just gonna bugger off.
She's done it twice now.
Chris and Alexa fight. Then Alexia mutates further and further. Why not just go straight to Super Saiyan 5? Each mutation makes her more and more insect-like. Finally, the linear launcher is charged.
Alexia, die.
Chris fires the weapon and it destroys Alexia. No time to rest though. As soon as Alexia is down, the facility is starting to... Chris manages to reach the jet, but Wesker has beat him to it.
Greetings.
And he has Claire. So Wesker throws Claire at Chris's feet. He's pissed that Alexia and the T. Veronica virus are gone.
Chris, why do you keep taking all my things? You take my first virus, you've taken my T. Veronica virus?
Greetings.
He's glad that he can now kill Chris himself. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna kill you. So Wesker reveals that he's grabbed Steve's T. Veronica mutilated body.
Why is he pissed that
the virus is gone if he's got the virus, yeah. Claire is mad, but Chris holds her back. Hold me back, Chris. I'm so angry. I'm gonna hold you back, Claire. Like all the other fights, I'm gonna do this on my own. Wesker and Chris fight, and Wesker is clearly superior. Chris manages to dodge Wesker's killing blow. He dives and hits a winch lever, which drops steel girders on... Oh my god. And Wesker had his tongue out, and now it's stuck to the steel girder. But Wesker stands. He's unfazed.
Greetings.
But then suddenly an enormous explosion from the base knocks them both back, and Wesker's face is severely burned. He decides to withdraw from now.
Until we meet again.
Oh my god. Chris barely made it out in time as the facility explodes. He hops in a jet as Claire takes off and the base erupts beneath them. The siblings are finally together again. They swear they'll destroy Umbrella once and for all. That's exactly how it ended with number 2.
That's exactly how it ends with all of them.
What's up with all the incest?
It was made during a different time. I mean, they're in Antarctica. The options are your siblings or a penguin, and you can only go through so many penguins. I think out of the Resident Evils that we've done, this one has the
quite
best
like
story.
it.
I like it.
The characters all kind of had their own thing. It's like, okay, Alexia is corrupted by power and super smart. Alfred has got like an inferiority complex and wants to be his sister. Chris is Chris Redfield.
Chris and Claire exist.
But then Steve's pretty good.
Steve's different.
He's constantly like going through these crises of self where he's like, no man is an island. A man is only an island. I want to go to an island. When he gets off the plane, he says, I land.
I'm going to stop recording for you.
No!